Welcome to part 8 of MERN-8 blog project series. This is the second last video of this series, and with it we are going to see how to make a comment box component for our blog website, and we will also create an edit post and post view component for our homepage. However, before we begin with this, I would like to request you guys to enable both the subscribe button and the bell icon for our Intellipaat YouTube channel. Today, in this video tutorial, we are going to create other components of our particular blog website, such as edit post, how to show that particular post on our homepage. And the issue that we faced in last video was that our loader was not stopping. It was not showing that there are no posts available because we haven't created any post. And one more thing, whenever we will be logging inside our particular app, at that time the header was not getting changed. So in this video we will fix all of that issues. So first of all, if you are facing the same issues, then just go to your package JSON of your front end folder, and at the very end, if you will just scroll down, and at the end just give this comma over here and write proxy as localhost 8000, because we have already created our setup proxy. I'll just show you. We have created this particular setup proxy, but we also have to mention this particular proxy inside our package JSON also, so that we have to mention to our package JSON that there is something coming from our port 8000. So for that, also mention this in your package JSON. Now let's check whether our error is fixed or not by doing this much. Okay, so if I'll just move to my blog website, see my website is already running over here, and if I'll just write test@gmail.com and 1 2 3 4 5 6, and if I'll just click on login, you can see I'm logged into my particular website. So I have created this particular blog over here, one blog, and this blog is saved in my database. Okay, if I'll just we have also seen how to create this particular blog. So just to show you that this is how our categories will be shown when we will add the categories, and we haven't created our home post card yet. That's why it is just showing that home post. And if I'll just click on this, you can see there are no post detail page, so that's why it is just a blank page. And you can see the URL. This is the ID of our particular blog which I have just created. Okay, and if I'll just move back to my home page, and okay, we are logged out. Let me just log in back. Okay, test@gmail.com and 1 2 3 4 5 6, and if I'll just log in, you can see my header is changed now, and there are this options over here: my blog, log out, write, and profile. Okay, so what I'll do, I'll just click on write, and over here we will write another blog. So let's say cloud. Okay, and over here I'm just selecting one file from my downloads folder. I have some files downloaded. So if I'll just click on this particular file, and we will see why cloud computing is important. Okay, and we will also change our category. So over here I'm just taking this cloud computing, and if I'll just click on add, you can see we have added a category over here, and we have also seen how to add a multiple categories. So let's say this is related to web development, so I'll just add web development. By clicking on this, we can remove the particular category as well. Okay, so let's try to add two categories for this one. Okay, let's not just take the business, let's keep the web development as it is. Okay, and over here let's say cloud computing is very important. Okay, and if I'll just click on this create button, and you can see we are redirecting to that particular blog which we have just created, but right now we don't have that particular blog view. That's why this is showing me the blank page. So what I'll do, I'll just move to my home page like this, and you can see over here there are two categories added, and there are two blogs showing over here because we have created two blogs. Okay, so we are done with our home page almost. Now what we have to do, we have to create this card view, but before that we also have to create that particular view which has our blog details. So we will create the blog page first, and then we will create this particular blog view, okay, of our home page. So without further ado, let's get started. Let's quickly move to our VS Code, and over here, if you remember, we have created this post detail page. Okay, so let's just create this post detail page. Okay, so first of all, let's start by importing everything. So let's say import. First of all, let's import use navigate and use params. So for this particular page, the URL will be changed. Why the URL will be changed? Because this post detail is based on whatever the ID our post is coming from, right? So for this page, what we have to do, we have to use our params as well. So let's say use params over here, and we will also import our comment section. So right now we haven't created a comment section, but we will do it. Okay, comment from what's happening, components / comment. Then we will have footer, then we'll also have nav bar, then we will import our icons. So let's say bi edit from my React icons /bi, and then we have our delete button. So let's say import md delete from similar again React icons /md. Now we'll also need our Axios. So let's say Axios. From Axios we will need URL. So let's say import URL, import URL comma if is image folder, because we will be needing an image also, from our $\URL. Now we will also need some hooks, so let's import that. First of all, we will be needing our use context, use state, and we will also need use effect. In last video, we have also learned more about our use contacts and use effect hook, right? So if you haven't checked out that particular video, go to this particular playlist and you can check it. Now let's import user contact from our contacts user context. Okay, now let's also import our loader. So we have created a single loader and we will use that particular loader for every components. Okay, whenever our loader is needed, from where we will import it from my components /loader. Now after doing that, we will also have one more icon. So let's say import FC manager from my React icons, again React icons /fc. Okay, now we will first create the functionalities as usual, and then we will move to our UI part. Okay, so before your return statement, what we will do, we will create some use states, and we will also take our ID and make this page at whatever the ID of that particular blog we are getting. We will set this particular page as that. So let's do that. So let's first create one constant variable for the post ID. Post ID is equal to use params and function.id. Okay, Now we will also create another constant for the post, because the post data, or you can say post details, will be different according to that particular post ID, right? So we have to set the data according to whatever the ID we are getting from the backend, right? So let's say I have created one post and that ID is 567, and you have created the post and that ID is 123. So the detail which you have entered and I have entered is different. So how we will fetch it? We will fetch it using that particular ID. For my blog it is 5678, and for your blog that is 1234. So like that we will get this particular post detail. So let's say set post over here is equal to use state, and initially we will keep it as a empty object. Okay, why object? Because we are creating there will be multiple fields inside our particular blog. So for that, to store all kinds of data inside our blog, we have to create an empty object, and in that empty object we will store every detail of our particular post. Now we will also get the user, because we want to know which user have created which post, because we are showing all the posts created by a particular person at single page. Okay, so for that we also have to get the data of which user is creating this particular post. Use context and user contact. Now let's also keep track of the comments. So comments, we will also create this comment section, don't worry about that. Okay, we will see how to get this comment and how this comment will look on our particular blog page and everything. Comment like this, and initially we will keep our comment as empty string. Let's create one more variable over here, and let's also keep track of our loader status. So let's say loader, set loader like this, and initially we will keep our loader as false, use state, and we will keep this as false. Now we will also make use of our navigate. All right, now just like we have done for our home post, we will also create a function as fetch post. Okay, and what we did when we were creating our home post, we passed that particular fetch post function inside our use effect hook, right? So similarly we are going to do that over here, but just the only difference will be over here we will be fetching the comments as well as the post and everything. Okay, so we will be creating different functions for our particular functionalities. So first of all, let's start by creating our fetch post function. We have already done this in our last video, so if you haven't watched that, go and check that out. Fetch post, and this function will be async. We know why this function will be async, right? Now we will also keep our try and catch block inside this, just as usual. Error, and inside this we will also console.log error. Fine, we are done with the catch block. Now it's time for our try block. So in try block we will also only have one function, or you can say one variable, that is our response. And how we will get the response will be, we will be get using exhaust. So exhaust dot get. So we are getting the data for this particular page, and when we were creating this particular blog we will putting the data. So there the method was put, but in this case the method is get, because we are getting the data. And over here we will write the endpoint. So our endpoint is /API/post, and we also have to mention the post ID. So let's say post ID like this. Now we also have to set post as whatever we got in response. So let's say response dot data. Now we have a big use of our this particular set post. Now where we have to use our particular post data, we will use this particular post. Okay, so I hope this part is clear to you. Let's move ahead. Now after that, I'm creating one more handle to delete this particular post, but here is some catch. So let's say if you want to delete some particular post, I cannot delete your post or you cannot delete my post. Admin can only delete his or her post. Okay, so if you have created account in particular blog website and if you have created some post, then only you are authorized to delete your particular post, right? So over here what we will do, we will pass our credentials as well. So if the credentials, if you have the credentials that I have logged in and this is my particular post, and if that credentials match, in that case only we will delete that particular post. Okay, and after deleting the post, what we will do, we will generally redirect to our home page. Okay, now let's create that particular function. So let's say const handle delete post is equal to async. Inside this we will create a try and catch block. So let's say try catch error fine. Now inside my try block, what I'll do, I'll create constant variable as response is equal to await exhaust dot, we have want to delete this, right? So we will use our function as delete, and inside this we will also pass our URL. So let's say API slash post plus post ID comma, we will also pass the credentials. So let's say with credentials, and this will be true. So by doing this, only the user who have created this particular post have the right to delete it. Now we'll also console log rs.data, and you can skip this part also. Okay, console log rs.data, and we'll also navigate to our home page. Okay, so here you can see there are no errors in the terminal, and also we have completed with our handle delete and handle fetch. Let's look at the output, what we are getting at the Chrome. Okay, so over here you can see we are getting a blank screen, but instead of that I should get something return over here like this. So what is the issue over here is, if you look at this particular URL, so this URL is wrong. Why this URL is wrong, I'll just show you. So if I'll just move to my app.js, over here you see this P is capital, so we have to make this P as small, and this is not this is post ID, right? There is nothing called post ID. We have post ID, right? So here we also have to write S over here. Now let's if I just go back to my output window, you can see the post is written over here, and that means our page is working, right? Now we have to add the functionalities. So let's continue doing that, and if I'll just move at the top over here, and if I'll just reduce the spacing between this. Now what we will do, we will also make a use of a use effect, and we will pass the post data to this page. So let's say use effect, and just like we did in last video, what we will do, we will call our fetch post function over here, fetch post like this, and we'll also pass the post ID. So post ID. Okay, I mean post ID. Okay, So now we have our post ID with us. Now what we will do, we will create one also the function to get all the comments on that particular post. So for that, first of all, let's create a function to fetch the post comment, and then we will also create a function to comment on that particular post. Fetch post comment is equal to, we will make this as async operation, async, use arrow key. Over here we will set loader as true for our comment section. Okay, and we will create one try block, then we will have one catch block which will catch all the errors, and inside the catch block we will console the errors. Console dot log error, and we'll also set our set loader as true, like this. Now what I will do, inside our try block, I'll create one constant response variable. Const response is equal to await exhaust. Again, this will be the get operation because we are getting the comments from where we are getting URL plus the endpoint of our API. So what was that slash API slash comments, and we also have to give the post slash. Now here this will be post ID. Okay, why the post ID? We have to mention for which post ID the comments are on. Otherwise what will happen is, whenever you are opening my blog and someone has commented on your blog, so that particular comment will be visible on my particular blog also. So I don't want that, right? So for that reason we will also pass our post ID. Then what we will do, we will set comment, we will set comments as data, right? Response dot data. Now we also have to set our loader as false. Now quickly mention in the comment section like what will be my next step. So those who have suggested that I should use effect hook, they are absolutely right. So I'll make a use of my use effect hook, and inside my use effect hook I'll fetch my post comments like this, and over here as well we will make use of our post ID. Okay, now we have our comments as well, right? Now let's create commenting functionality. So after this use effect, what I'm doing over here is I'm creating one more function. So this function will help you comment on our particular blog. So let's say comment, post comment. Okay, and this will also be a async operation because we are sending this particular data to the backend. And over here we also have to make use of our e.prevent default, right? Why? Because whenever we are writing anything inside our text field and we are trying to submit it, our page get reloaded, and if our page get reloaded, the data will be lost, and we don't want any reload happening whenever we are filling any data inside our particular form. So we will also mention e.prevent default, e.prevent default like this, and over here we will make use of our try and catch, right? Now catch block will contain the error, also console the error, console.log error, right? Now let's focus on our try block. Okay, so inside our try block, first of all we will create one variable as response, or you can say a function as response, and we will await this. We will put the data. So we have to use post operation over here because we are posting the data to the backend, right? So we are passing the data from front end to the back end. So that's why we are making use of our post. Now we will mention URL. So URL plus API slash comments, okay, slash create. Okay. Now what we have to pass to this particular URL, we have to pass the comment, we have to pass the the person who have created the post and the person who have commented on that particular post. So and we have to pass the ID of the person who is commenting on this particular post. So we have to pass so many things over here. So let's pass everything one by one. So if I'll just, okay, let's keep it like this. Okay, let's also enter over here. Okay, so let's start by the passing the comment. So let's say comment, and comment will be comment. Comment like this, and this both C will be small. Did you meant comments? Okay, let's move to the top and see what variable we have created. So over here we have created only comments and set comment. Okay, so we have to create one more use state over here for the comments. Okay, one will be comment and another will be set comments. Okay, so there will be more than one comment as well, right? So for that we will create our comments over here. I'm making this as a comment which will be empty string, and another will be our const comments when we are fetching the comments, comma set comments use state, and this will be empty array. Okay, so let's also change our fetch comment over here. Over here we will pass the comments. Okay, so just give me a second, I'll just fix this. Okay, so this will be set comments over here. And over here the comment will be comment, and we also have to pass the author. And who is the author? The user, right? And we also have to pass the username, user.username, and this user is coming from our user context, right? Now we also have to mention the post ID. So let's say post ID colon post ID, and we also have to mention user ID colon user dot underscore ID. So we have passed this data. Now we have to pass the credentials. So let's say with credentials, and we will make this as true. Okay, so we have passed our comments as well. So we have get the comment from the user, and we have passed that particular comment to the backend, and we have also handled the error over here. Now we also have to do one more thing. So let's say we have stop our window from reloading itself. Why? Because we have used our e.prevent default, right? So whenever the user is commenting on a post, so at that point what happens is it will only show me that particular comment when my window is reloaded. So what I'll do over here, I'll just write window location reload true. Okay, so for that particular location my window will get automatically reloaded, and after the reloading my comment will be visible. Okay, so that we don't have to reload it, it will reload itself. So over here I'm writing before this ending of this try block, I'm writing window dot location dot reload, and inside this I'll pass true. All right, now we are done with all the functionalities. We will move to our UI part. So over here I'm just removing this particular part, and we don't need this class name over here. We will create one more. First of all, let's put the nav bar over here. So let's say nav bar slash. Now over here what we will do, we have to conditionally load our loader. So if our loader is true, we will show some different data, and if our loader is not true, we will show some other data. Okay, for that what we will do, we will make our make use of our ternary operator. We will check whether the loader is true or not, and if the loader is true, in that case this condition will be shown. So for this particular condition we will show the loader, right, and otherwise we will show our other things. Okay, so what other things we want to show? We want to show our post data. So let's do that. Over here I'm also mentioning this, and we'll make this div. Okay, now errors are gone. So here we will start by giving some class name. So why this class name? We want our loader at the very center of the screen. So we'll take ATBH and flex justify center, item center, like this, and which will be full. Okay, so my loader is now at the center. Now we will see what we will render in case our loader is false. So let's say class name, I'm making px as 8, my md px as 200 pixel, and my empty as 8. Now I'll also want some box shadow and everything. So this is my outer box of my particular blog. So let's say class name, also give the border to it, border p3 and shadow, like this. Now inside this I'll create one more div, class name. We will make this display as flags, justify between, and item center. Now inside this I want to give one h1, which is my post title, or you can say my blog title. Okay, so over here what I'll do, I'll give some class names to this. So let's say class name. So here it will be text 3xl, then font will be bold, and text will be black, md will be text 3xl, and inside this we will pass the post title. So let's say post title, post dot title, and we will close our h1. Now if I'll just move to my output, you can see over here we have this bordered box with the shadow and with the title of our particular blog. So this is done. Now we have to move ahead. Okay, so what we will do next is we will have to give the user the option to edit or to delete. So who can edit and delete the post? The person who have written that particular blog, right? So we will only give this particular options to the person who have created this particular blog. So for that we will again make conditional rendering inside this conditional rendering. So over here we will check whether the user question mark is true or not. Dot underscore id of the post. So we are checking whether the person inside the user we have this particular blog ID or not. So let's say question mark dot user ID. And what we will do next is we will pass this particular div. So inside this particular div, we will keep two things, which is edit button and delete button. Okay, so we have already created the functionalities for the same, but first of all, let's just set the display of that particular button. So let's say class name. First of all, making my display as flex, item center, and justify center. Justify center space X will be 2. Okay, and inside this I'm creating two p tags. Okay, and inside this particular p tag, what I'll do, I'll start by giving some classes. So what I want over here is my class name, just my cursor to be pointer, nothing else. Okay, cursor, I want pointer, and on click, first of all we will navigate to our edit post button. Okay, so this button will navigate me to the edit post page. So let's say navigate, where to navigate, we want to navigate to edit, right? And edit will also have a post ID for editing that particular post. So let's say post ID, like this. And between this p tag, I'll also give my bi edit button. So if I'll just look at the output, my edit buttons are not visible. If I'll just try to refresh this page, okay, over here you can see this particular edit button over here, right? On click of this particular edit button, I have edit post page. Okay, if I'll just move back, and we will stay on this particular page only for now. And I'm just copying this particular part, and instead of this edit, I'll call the delete handle. So I'm just removing this particular function call from here. I'm just removing this particular part, and instead of that, I'm just mentioning my handle delete post. And over here, instead of this, I'll mention md delete, like this. If I'll just show you the output, you can see there is this edit button, delete button, and both. And on click of the edit button, you will be able to edit the post, and on click of the delete button, the post will be deleted. So if I'll just show you, I'll click on the delete, and this functionalities are not working because we are not logged. So if I'll just log into my particular website, and if I'll just show you, so let's say test@gmail.com, and my password is 123456, and if I'll just log in, and if I'll click on this particular post page, you can see this over here, that should be this edit and post button, because we have created this particular post from the same website, but it is not showing. So what I'll do, I'll just go to the another one. Okay, fine. So if I'll just create the post for this particular ID, so let's say anything over here, and if I'll just select any images from here, so let's just take this one, and let's keep this, and let's say anything over here, and if I'll just click on create, my post is created. But you can see here still we are not getting this edit and delete button. Let's see why we are not getting that. So the issue we have over here is this will be small d instead of this capital D at the user, and you will get your delete and edit icon whenever you are logging to that particular user. Now let's move ahead and create our data of our particular blog. So starting with the blog image. So first of all, we will have the blog image. For that, I'm creating separate div. Inside this, I'll store all my post data. Now let's start by giving some class name to this particular div, starting with the making my width as 100%. Let's keep it 100% over here, giving
this as a flex call, then also making this justify center. Okay, now first of all I'll have the image, so let's give the src over here. So pause the video for a second and try to think what will be the URL, or you can say the src of our particular image. So I hope you guys have commented that particular answer in the comment section, and those who have thought that it will be if are partially true, but the correct answer is if plus post dot photo. So photo contains the name and everything of the address of that particular photo inside my if folder. Okay, so if is only going to take you to that particular folder, but there will be lots of photos, right? So we also have to choose that particular photo from that particular folder, right? So this is your answer. Now let's also give some class names over here, starting with the object cover. H, let's make this as 45vh. Let's also make our mx auto, then MT8, like this. And let's also give some alternate images over here, and I'm just keeping blank space over here. Now after this, what we will do, I'll also have my categories. So after the image, I'll show my description, and then I'll have my categories over there. So let's start with the description. So I'm taking the p tag over here, and between this p tag I'm wrapping my post description. So let's say post.desc, and let's also give some class name to our p tag. So let's say class name, and let's also make this as mx auto, then mt8, then let's also set the width as 80vh, then border padding will be 5, shadow XL. Okay, so that's it for the post description. Now we have the category. So we will create one div, and inside this div we will wrap all the categories, we will map all the categories. All right, so over here I'm creating one div and giving some class names to that particular div, starting with my display flex, my content justify center, item center mt8, and also space x is equal to 4. Let's also make the font bold, or let's say semi bold. Okay, and inside this I am creating one p tag, and in between those p tags I'm writing category heading, categories like this. And after that I'm mapping all the categories. So for that I'm creating separate div, and in this particular div I'm wrapping my category. So let's also give some styling to this particular div. So let's say class name, making my display flex, justify center, item center, and space x 2. Now inside this we will map the categories. So how we will map the categories? By using this conditional rendering operation. Okay, so let's say post dot categories, like this, question mark dot map. If there are any categories available, we will pass two things, that is category comma the index. Okay, so I will act as our unique key. Let's also wrap that inside a div like this, and inside this I'm creating another div. Let's give this div key as I, and over here we will have C. Okay, so C is category and I is our key value or prop. Okay, so let's also give some class name to this particular part. Let's make the background as gray, 300. Let's make this as rounded XL, then px3 and py1, and this is done. So after the categories we will have the comments. So first of all there will be part which shows all the comments which is done on that particular blog, and after that we will have a section when user can put their comments on. Okay, so let's first get all the comments and then we will create a section where user can actually comment. Okay, so creating one div over here. So over here, now let's start by giving this div some class names, starting with the display flex, justify center, item center, and padding 3, flex call, MD4. All right, now let's also give h3 over here, and over here we will just write the heading as comments, and then we will map the comments. Okay, so what I'm doing over here is you can take this particular styling from the categories div, and you can directly paste that particular styling over here. So let's say class name, and inside this I'm putting this styling. Okay, now between this I'll give the heading as comments. So let's say comments like this. Okay, now let's map the comment, taking my curly braces. Let's just check whether there are comments or not. So let's say comments question mark dot map. If there are comments available, we will map it. Okay, so here C is comment. In previous case it was categories, right? Now as many as comments are there, we will render our particular comment.js file. Okay, we have created our comment.js, right? Let's also give some class name to it. Okay, we will style it when we will be creating this comment.js component. Okay, let's give key prop as c dot underscore id, that is comment id, and as a comment we will pass c because c is our comment, and for the post we will give post. So let's say post is equal to post, like this. And now let's close this. So we are done with our comment rendering as well. Now what we will do, we will create a section where people can actually comment on, right? So for that, what I'm doing, I'm creating one separate div for that. So here in this particular div, I'll give some class names first, starting with my border, flex, justify center, flex call, and MD4. And also let's make a flex row for my medium screen. Fine. And now inside this particular part, we will have two things. First, input tag where people can put the comment, and one submit button. On click of that button, the comment is posted on the blog. Okay, so let's do that. Starting with creating one input tag over here. So let's say input, and on change of this particular input, we will set our set comment, right? So we will take E as an input, and we will set comment, and we'll also give E dot target dot value, like this. Now we also have to mention the type. So let's say type will be text. Let's also mention placeholder. So let's say placeholder over here, and inside this we will write your comment like this. Let's also give some class name to this particular input tag, starting with, for medium screen, I'm making my width as 80%. Okay, and outline will be none, py2, px4, and mt4, md, mt0. So this is my input tag. Now what we will have one button. So let's create one button like this, and on click of this particular button, what we will do, we will call our function that is post comment. Okay, now let's also give some styling to this particular button. So let's say class name bg black, then we have text as sm, then text will be white, font will be semi bold, and px will be 2, py will be 2, and for medium screen my width will be 20%, and empty will be 4, and for my medium screen my empty will be 0. Let's also add a text to this particular button. So let's say add comment, and at the end I have added the footer over here. Okay, let me just format this particular document. So I'm using prettier over here. Okay, fine. So we are done with our post details. So if I'll just show you, if I'll just move to my browser and if I'll just show you, over here, if I'll just log in, so over here you can see there are this comments, because we haven't created this comment section yet, so that's why this is showing like this. And then we have this categories, the description, and our add comment box over here. I guess this is looking perfect. I just need to change the width size of this particular box. So let's just do that. Instead of width is equal to 20%, I'm making this as a 40%. All right. So if I'll just go back, you can see still I want this little longer. So let's make this as 50%. Fine. This is looking perfect, right? So now let's move ahead and create this comment section. Okay, so that we can see the actual comments over here. So let's move ahead and do that. Now let's quickly move to our comment.js. So I'm inside my comment.js. First of all, let's start by importing few things, starting with my exhaust. So let's say exhaust, and next thing what I'll be importing is my delete button. So let's say md delete. Delete from my React icons. Then I'll have my URL. Then I have my use context hook. Then I have my user context. So I have already imported my user context, but my use context is not imported. Okay, so we are done with our importing. Now let's move ahead and create our all the functionalities. So there will be only one functionality with that we have to write is delete the created comment. So the user who had commented on your post will be able to delete that particular comment. Okay, so if you are commenting on my post, I won't be able to delete it, but only you will be able to delete that particular part. So first of all, let's fetch the user data. So from where we can fetch the user data? From our context user, right? So for that we will use of our use context hook, and inside that we will have a user context like this. Now we will create our function. So let's say const delete comment. Comment is equal to async, and inside this we will also pass the ID of that particular comment, and inside this particular function we will try to make use of our try and catch block. Okay, so error and console.log error like this. Now inside our try block you can create your response variable as well, but I'm writing directly over here just to show you that how this works. Okay, but best practice is creating the res variable. Okay, now we want to delete this, so let's say delete, and we will pass the url over here, plus the exit url will be /api/comments, like this, slash. We also have to pass the id of this particular comment to delete this comment. So the logic of deleting the comment and logic of deleting the post is almost similar. Okay, and over here we will also pass the credentials, because we want only the user who have created the comment will be able to delete that particular comment. Okay, now we also have to reload this window, so let's say window location reload, and we will make this as true. So this part is done. Now let's create our UI. So over here I'm removing this comment part. Instead of that, let's give some class name over here. Let's say class name like this, starting with the px is equal to 2, py is equal to 2. Then let's make background as gray 200, and width will be 90 vh. Then let's make this as rounded lg and my2. Fine. Now inside this I'll create one more div like this, and in that particular div let's also give some class name over here first, making my display as flags item center, then justify center, justify between, and first of all we will mention who has commented on that particular post. So for that I'm taking this h3, and over here we will have @c.author. Okay, now let's also give some styling to this particular part. So let's say class name, making my font bold, and also text will be in gray color, but here this will be little darker gray, so I'm keeping this as a 600. Now let's also create one more div over here. So let's say div like this, and also give the class name over here. Let's make it as flex justify center, item center, and space x is equal to 4. Now over here we will pass the date when the particular comment was created. Okay, so I'm not giving any styling over here. Directly between this p tag I'm mentioning my date. So we know how to render this particular date by using date, new date. Inside this we will write c.updated at. We also have to convert this to string like this, and then we will slice this 3 to 15. Right now what we will do, we will check whether the user who is viewing that particular comment is the user who have commented on that particular post. Why we are doing this? Because only if you have posted a comment on my blog, then only you will be able to delete this. So we have to check whether the user dot underscore id is equal to c dot user id. In that case, what we will do, we will render this particular div, and inside this particular div we will give the option to delete. So let's say empty delete like this. Let's also wrap this between p tag, so that we can make this as function. And okay, let's give some class name to this particular div first, and then we will style our p tag. So starting with making my display flex, item center, justify center space x2. Now let's also write our classes for p tag. So let's say class name, and only thing I want over here is cursor pointer. That's it. Now on click of this particular button, so let's say on click, what I'll do, I'll just call my delete handle, right? Delete comment, and we also have to pass the dot underscore id over here like this, and this is done. Now if both the condition is true, in that case I don't want anything to happen over there, so the empty string. Now at the end, let's also add the comment. So let's say p, and over here we will show the comment. Okay, so let's say c dot comment, and this c will be small like this. Now let's also give some class names over here. So let's say class name px as 4 and empty as 2. Now let's look at the output. C is not defined. Why C is not defined? We have passed the C. Okay. So in the function context, we also have to take this variable. So over here, let's take C. Now C is defined. Okay, over here you can see we have this beautiful comments over here, and this is looking perfect. So that was it for this particular video. In next video we will be wrapping our blog website up, and till then keep creating amazing React projects, and I'll see you guys in next one.
Just a quick info, guys. Intellipaat offers a full stack developer course which enable you to learn tech stack from both front end and back end. Through this course, you will gain hands-on experience with the skills and technologies such as SQL, Java, data structure, JavaScript, HTML, CSS, Node.js, and React under the guidance of industrial professionals. With this course, we have already helped thousands of professionals in successful career transition. You can check out the testimonial on our Achievers channel, whose link is given in the description below. Without a doubt, this course can set your careers to new heights. So visit the course page link given in the description and take the first step towards the career growth with the full stack developer course.